Hi guys, Rachel here from the Confused Millennial. Welcome back to my channel. And some of you have been asking for a tour of this room. I've been in the process of converting this room from this random space in our house that wasn't super usable into my daughter's playroom and eventual homeschooling room. And while I'm not ready to reveal the full room with you yet, make sure to hit that notification and subscribe button because I probably will in the next month or two. Today, I'm really excited to share with you one of the DIYs I did for this room, which is something I had really wanted to do for a long time, a daily schedule command station slash morning board, some people call it, or sometimes I think they call it like a today is board, all sorts of names. But I was dreading doing this project because it requires a lot of cutting and a lot of little pieces. So I'm thrilled that Cricut is sponsoring this video because using my Explore Air 2 made this entire process so much easier. Plus, I'm sharing a little hack I came up with for laminating using it that you definitely won't want to miss. Before we get into cutting, let's talk about the design and all of the elements of our command station. You know, I wanted to have the month, date, and days of the week, but I wanted to do this very intentionally. In case you didn't know, all of the months of the year are actually associated with a color. My friend Walla, she is a color energy reader and she taught me all about this. I will leave a link to her website in the description box below. So with that in mind, I actually created each month's label to match the color that it aligns with. I will leave a link to the blog post version of this video that shows all of the different colors and what they mean. If you're interested in that, feel free to go ahead and check that out. And just like the months have a color energetic frequency, the days of the week do too. But the days of the week are actually ruled by planets, if you didn't know. So obviously Saturday is Saturn Day, which is associated with color black. Sunday is obviously the sun's day, which is associated with color yellow. Monday is Moon Day, which is associated with color light blue. In the blog post, you'll also find the rest of the days of the week, what planet rules them, and the color associated with them as well. That's how I went ahead and chose my colors. The colors are all very meaningful, and I think it's so powerful when we can harness the energy of that day or of that month to really propel our goals forward, to shift into alignment, to increase our manifesting abilities and all that stuff. And like, how cool would it have been to know all this stuff as a kid? Think about just like how much more the universe and you could have been like working together on making stuff happen. That's why it's meaningful to me. You can always go ahead and make this look however you want. This is just how I chose to do it. And then the next little bit of this is our feelings corner. Again, I did this a little bit differently. So the aspect of this board is to teach emotional intelligence. And while I think it's really important to learn how to identify emotions within us as they come up, I think it's even more important to not identify as the emotion, let alone as the emotion permanently. I'll give you a real life example first. A few years ago, I was working with my dear friend Shaman Durek, and I was constantly saying, I'm tired. And he's like, you know, you say that a lot. You're pretty much like putting yourself in purgatory and like a holding pattern for feeling tired all the time. So for 3 weeks, I challenged myself to stop saying I'm tired and instead say things like, I'm feeling tired right now, but I feel the sun recharging me. Or this morning I felt tired. So pretty much putting that feeling in the past or in a temporary state, which is really important because feelings are temporary. They're like waves. They peak, they crash, they recede. Putting this together for my daughter, I was very cognizant to do currently I'm feeling because I want to start instilling in her that emotions are fluid. They are not permanent states. We are not going to put ourselves in a holding pattern. And those little languaging hacks, I think, create huge energetic shifts in how we grow up into adults, how we manage our emotions, how we move through life, our productivity, all of that stuff. I want her to feel like at any point in the day, she can go back and swap out how she's feeling. Again, I think it's important to teach children how to identify emotions as they come up, but not identify with them as permanent states. And that's the real key here. And that's why I think it's really important to add currently or right now in front of I'm feeling da 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 da. Next is a little number of the day, letter of the day situation. I will most likely either theme the day or the week with a letter and number. So if the letter of the day is G, we'll wear green, we'll eat grapes, we'll count goldfish, we'll listen to guitar, type of things like that. Also just serving as a visual reminder as a mom, like, okay, today we're focusing on the number 2. Whenever I see stuff in pairs, start pointing that out. Start having a dialogue about the number 2. So for me, in the early days, this is really about focusing my mind and serving as a visual reminder about like things I can talk to my daughter about throughout the day. The last part of the board is the today's activities board. So basically a series of cards with different activities. So reading, math, arts and crafts, a mystery field trip, different things like that. Each night, what we'll probably do is have my husband choose one, I'll choose one, and we'll let my daughter choose one. We'll put it on the board so that she knows what the plan is for the next day. In the morning, we'll give everyone an opportunity to swap out their activity if they change their mind. I think this is really important as somebody that's been self-employed, working from home for over 5 years now. This has been kind of my golden rule towards sustainable success, which is give myself 3 activities to do each day. And it doesn't matter if I want to go to the beach the whole day, as long as I get those 3 things done, I can go to the beach that day. And I think starting to instill that concept of planning while also creating balance and also putting activities on our to-do list that actually light us up. That's why she gets to choose one and then we can kind of balance it out, is just a really good approach to creating a collaborative learning environment, to teamwork, and to getting kids excited about having control over their day, about self-motivation, which both my husband and I are entrepreneurs. We'll tell you, we've been doing this for a long time. This is an invaluable skill to start to teach kids where they create their own schedules, where they self-motivate, where they have a say in flexibility and things like that. So you can make your own command station using all the information I just gave you as a guide, or if you have a Cricut, you can go ahead and in the description box below, I will leave a link to my design space canvas where you can go ahead, click that, open it up, customize it if you want, or use it exactly as is. And how we're gonna cut this using the Cricut. Start by opening the file and sending it to the printer. Once the images are printed, you'll head back to your design space canvas. And this is important. You're going to want to turn off any layer by clicking the little I that you do not want cut. So for example, on these letters that are inside of a banner, we only want the outer dark backing of the banner cut. Don't want the letter layer cut. So we're gonna click the little I next to those and turn those off. If you accidentally forget to turn this off for this first cut, that's not a big deal. Ultimately laminate these. So if you accidentally have a few extra cuts, you can rearrange them in your laminate paper. You'll never know the difference that these accidentally got cut. But before you go ahead and do the laminate cut, you will need to make sure to fix that and turn off anything you do not want cut. Once you have only the layers you actually want cut turned on, you'll click make it. This is also important. Make sure that whatever you're about to cut is the right sheet on your light grip mat. So you'll go ahead, take one of your printer sheets, add it onto your light grip mat, set your settings to paper, add it into the Cricut, and go ahead and get it cut, double checking, of course, that the design is matching what you're actually cutting here. Once that is cut, you'll take it out. Using the weeding tool, I went ahead and removed the freshly cut pieces. So leaving the full sheet of paper on and just taking out the little circles or banners or whatever it was I just cut. Now what you're gonna do is you're going to take contact paper and you're gonna cut it smaller than that black trimmed rim. So this is really important. You can't have any of the contact paper overlapping that black cut line. That's the sensor that Cricut reads, and if contact paper is covering it, it can't fully sense your project, it can't calibrate, and it won't ultimately cut. So again, cutting a piece of contact paper smaller than the black lines, but larger than your actual cutout. And what we're gonna do is take that piece of contact paper and stick it onto the light grip mat. It'll stick on where your cutout pieces were just removed. And your contact paper, this first layer, should be facing sticky side up. Then you will take your paper cutout and put them back into place on your mat, but they'll stick on the contact paper. And then you'll take a second sheet of contact paper, the exact same size, and layer that directly on top. So essentially creating a sandwich here where you will have your light grip mat, your original piece of paper, and this is where the sandwich comes in, your contact paper, your paper cutouts, and then another layer of contact paper. So once you have all of those layers set, you'll load the project back into your Cricut, this time adjusting the settings from paper to light cardstock. You want the cut to be a little bit deeper since we're going through, you know, the two layers of contact paper and the regular paper. With that, you'll pull it out once it's done, use the weeding tool again to lift up your little freshly laminated pieces, and there you have it. Super easy, huge time saver, so much cleaner than trying to cut it all out by hand, and you get these really fresh, crisp cut lines for circles and for the banners that look so good. But once all of your pieces are done and cut out, you'll go ahead and add this to a board of your choice. Whichever board you choose, however you decide to arrange this, I would suggest adding a few little hooks to the bottom of your board with some baggies for all of the extra pieces for when you're swapping these out. And there you have it. Today is morning board, homeschool command station, whatever you want to call this project. I'm really excited to start putting it to use. I hope you loved this Cricut homeschool activity. If you guys decide to recreate it, I'd love to see it. Tag me on Instagram at the Confused Millennial. Again, you can find those design files and all of the supplies I used linked in the description box below, and further written instructions in the description box below as well. Thank you so much to Cricut for sponsoring this video. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to hit me up on Instagram at the Confused Millennial. My name's Rachel. Happy making.